Happy Monday, everybody. Here's hoping you had a great weekend. Well, after years of debate and discussion, it all comes down to today. Sports betting officially getting ready to launch here in North Carolina. And we want to know this morning, do you plan to take part?
So here are 3 things that you need to know. First up, it all kicks off in just a few hours at noon today. And that's when sports fans 21 and older will be able to start placing bets. And it starts just a day before the ACC tournament kicks off.
Number 2, it could all mean big business for the state. Experts predict this could bring in about $65 million in additional tax revenue to North Carolina. And 3, there's the downside of it as well. More ways to gamble could mean more problems for some people. North Carolina health officials now working to make sure people, specifically young men, don't get addicted.
Yeah, WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane joins us now. Richard, officials working with new resources to get the word out here.
Yeah, they're using some of the funding to try to educate folks about the problems of addictions when it comes to sports betting. And also for those folks who actually fall victim to it, there are also resources that the state has implemented. They all want to do this because they know that while gambling on sports can be fun and exciting, it can also lead to problems. Last year, there was an NCAA study that found that nearly 60% of 18 to 20-year-olds had already placed sports bets. That was, of course, before legal online betting here in North Carolina. And according to the North Carolina Problem Gaming Program, younger people experience gambling problems more often than adults. Now, there are some warning signs that we're told about, like, for instance, parents and folks who know some of these bettors should pay attention to things like changed moods or behaviors when they're watching games, if they have a disproportionately interested mood in those games. Of course, it can start out with a bet such as 5 and then escalate to 10, then to hundreds of dollars. Sometimes folks stay inside their homes. They don't pay attention to what's going on around them. They just want to seem to gamble. These are all things that happen. You can also pair that with folks drinking and continue that factor. These are all things that can happen to anyone when it comes to sports betting and gambling, but of course, most especially young folks.
Young people are more at risk. Their brains are still developing. And so while they're introduced to this kind of stimuli that makes them feel really good, it's easier to crave it. Their brains are still forming. And also, young people are still learning how to think logically.
Yeah, and even some adults are learning how to think logically when it comes to betting and gambling and things of that nature. If it does seem to be a problem, they've set up a number of resources. There's education courses in school. Also, morethanagame.nc.gov. Let me do that again. morethanagame.nc.gov is a website that's set up to help with folks who may be experiencing gambling addictions. We have that information on our website at WCNC.com. And there are also some educational programs implementing in the schools where they can take advantage of trying to educate and prevent gambling addictions in our youths. We're right here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, one of the places where there'll be a sports book. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Richard. Thank you.
Another big part about this is that by having legalized betting and sports betting, it's going to make the whole sort of situation safer. It's going to be a safer platform because for years, as you know, fans have often used offshore accounts to make money off their favorite teams, done it under the radar. And it came when people did it with big security and big safety concerns.
You know, you're basically giving them your bank account information, and who knows who's handling it, who knows who's seeing it. So this absolutely will give people peace of mind, people that might have been hesitant.
Experts predict a smooth rollout later today as North Carolina will become the 38th state to allow mobile sports betting.
Well, sports betting ads, we've seen them constantly
everywhere
now. Companies have been gearing up, getting you excited for today's launch for months. And as WCNC Charlotte's Megan Bragg tells us, you may be seeing a lot more soon, but there might be a way to limit the ads on your feed. So let's get the facts.
I've seen them all over my feeds, and I'm sure you have too. As sports betting rolls out in North Carolina, you may see even more of these ads. But is there a way to limit them from your feed? Let's get the facts. Our sources: Facebook, X, Google, and the National Gambling Support Network. Though the National Gambling Support Network says you can't completely remove the ads from your feeds, there are ways to manage them. Taking a look at Facebook, you can hide them by selecting the down arrow menu or X in the top right corner of the sponsored post. You can also adjust what ads you see in your ad preference settings. Now for X. Sports betting ads are permitted with restrictions, as well as gambling affiliates and fantasy sports ads. Similar to Facebook, you can click on the ad on your feed, block or mute the ad. You can also control interest-based ads by going into your personal ads in settings. So what about Google? You can limit the ads you see by going to My Ad Center and customizing ads. Gambling is under the sensitive topics, and you are able to limit those ads from there. The National Gambling Support Network says there is also blocking software that can help screen gambling sites from your device. We have some of those blocking sites on our website, WCNC.com. With your Verified Fact Check, I'm Megan Bragg.
So we are getting some comments here. Melissa chiming in saying, nah, gambling isn't for me. I don't even play the lottery. Joy Mott, I'd never do it. I value my money. And John Kelly saying, not really a fan of it. Making it so accessible will lead to gambling addictions.
That's certainly the concern among a lot of people.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens. It all goes live today at noon. And we'll have complete coverage throughout the day right here on WCNC Charlotte. And we'll see you back here tomorrow morning for another edition of WCNC Charlotte To Go.